It was a Sunday afternoon, quiet, golden, the kind that practically begged for peace. I was in the kitchen, finishing up dishes for my solo lunch. My wife, Danielle, had texted me hours earlier. Lunch with Ava and Mel. Might take a walk after. Love you, Yellowheart. It had become a pattern lately. Lunch dates with friends. Sudden absences. The phone face down, the do not disturb mode, the tired excuses. Still, I played along. I wanted to believe I was wrong. But I wasn't. A week ago, my suspicion got the better of me. I installed a location tracker. Nothing invasive. Just a shared location app. She'd turned it on once for safety. She forgot it was still active. She wasn't at the cafe she said she'd be. She was across town, in a cozy Italian restaurant. With him. I watched him from my car across the street. She leaned in when she laughed, touched his wrist, tucked her hair behind her ear the way she used to do for me. He was tall, clean-cut, wore a crisp white shirt. I hated how calm he looked. I didn't confront her that day. No, I waited, planned, and today was the perfect setup. She walked into the front door just as I was wiping the last plate dry. Her smile was dazzling, cheeks flushed, eyes bright, like she'd just stepped off a movie set. "Hey, babe," she chirped, slipping off her shoes. "Ava says hi." I smiled back. "Oh, yeah? How's Ava?" Danielle launched into a carefully scripted story about their lunch. The fake details rolled off her tongue effortlessly. Inside jokes, the funniest waiter, and a non-existent dessert bar. I let her finish. Then I walked over to the table and tapped the printed photos I'd placed there. Her and the mystery man at the Italian place, smiling, his hand on hers. Her face drained. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. It's not what? Don't. I cut in. Don't insult both of us. Silence. I stepped aside, revealing the suitcase by the door. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked, voice cracking. "Anywhere but here," I said. "Go have lunch with him again. Maybe he'll let you move in once he realizes you're not just a liar. You're a practice one." She reached for my arm. I stepped back. You waltz and smiling after stabbing this marriage in the back. That smile. I pointed to the photos. It's what made this real. That's the moment I knew you didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. Tears welled in her eyes. But I didn't move. Didn't comfort. Didn't offer an ounce of softness. Not anymore. She left, suitcase trailing behind her, silence hanging where our future used to be. And for the first time in months, I felt light. Not because I wanted this to happen, but because I finally took control of the ending. She smiled when she walked in. She cried when she walked out. And I didn't regret a thing. She cried when she walked out. And I didn't regret a thing. The door clicked shut with a quiet finality that somehow echoed louder than any fight we'd ever had. I stood there for a moment, listening to the stillness. No footsteps rushing back in. No apologies hurled through the keyhole. Just silence. And it felt good. The kind of good you don't feel until the weight lifts off your chest. Like you've been unknowingly holding your breath for months and finally let it out. I went to the living room, picked up the second envelope I had left on the table, one she hadn't noticed in her panic. Inside were divorce papers. Not filed yet, just signed. My part, anyway, she'd have her chance now. I didn't do this impulsively. I gave her every chance to fix it without even knowing she was being offered one. Subtle conversations, thoughtful gestures, even date night she canceled because she was too tired. I watched her check out of our life slowly, piece by piece, while still wearing the wedding ring like it meant something. I poured myself a glass of scotch and sat on the couch. The photos were still there, him reaching across the table, her leaning in, laughing like she was in love, with someone else. I stared at one particular picture for a while, not because it hurt, because it didn't anymore. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. A message from her. "I messed up. I know you hate me right now, but please, can we talk?" I didn't reply. Not right away. Instead, I opened the gallery app and deleted every photo of us together. From vacations to anniversaries to quiet mornings in bed. I backed up the few I might want later, memories of me more than us. But the rest? Gone. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next few days were quiet. No messages. Then 2 more. Then a voicemail. Each more desperate than the last. She even came by once, knocked for 10 minutes straight. I didn't answer. She was crying outside, begging to talk, saying it was a mistake, that he didn't mean anything, and it only happened twice. Only twice. Funny how cheaters always count. I never opened the door. She eventually left, and I smiled. The same smile she walked in with that day, except mine was real. A few months later, the divorce was finalized. I got the house. She moved into some bland apartment across town. I didn't ask where. I didn't care. I started going out more. Saw old friends. Took a trip solo to the mountains. Even started dating again, slowly, carefully, with no expectations. Just truth. You know, there's a strange power in not needing closure from the person who hurt you, in knowing they already gave you all the proof you needed. Through their lies, their choices, their smirks. Danielle waltzed and smiling after her lunch date. I made her regret it, and I moved on. That's the real revenge. Peace. Months passed. Spring melted into summer, and with it, the last traces of her in my life. Her perfume no longer lingered in the corners of our bedroom. Her laugh, once the soundtrack of lazy Sundays, faded into a forgotten tune. Even the dog stopped waiting by the door at 6 p.m. One afternoon, I found the old wedding album while reorganizing the storage closet. I didn't feel anger as I flipped through it, just distance, like looking at someone else's life. Someone naive. I closed the album and set it in the donation pile. She tried again once. A long email, full of if only and what we had. She called what we shared real. But real love doesn't sneak around, doesn't lie, doesn't betray in broad daylight and come home smiling. I didn't reply. Some things don't deserve closure. Just a closed door. And mine, it's locked behind me. Today, I'm not bitter. I'm better, freer, wiser, stronger. Danielle may have thought she walked away with a secret, but I walked away with something better, my self-respect. And in the end, that's worth more than any apology never meant. The past is gone. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living.